I have some catching up to do. Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name's Leia, and today and in the next few days or weeks, I have no idea, I will talk about everything that I've read in 2023 that I didn't tell you. And there's a lot of months to go through, so I don't want to waste any time. Let's talk about the books I've read in October. So the first two books are actually books that I already unhauled, so I can't show you how they look like, but I can put up a picture of them and just talk about them that way. So the first one was the German edition of Sarah Perry's book called After Me Comes the Flood, and this is a standalone mystery, maybe. Very hard to decide on just one genre. It felt like it was trying to be different things, but yeah, I don't know. It never really hit it in any way for me. I don't know. The atmosphere was good, so I liked the writing style in general, so I'm curious to see how other books by Sarah Perry are. I know she's also written The Essex Serpent, that's what it's called, right? So yeah, I'm really excited about that one. Hope it's better than this one, because I only gave this one 2 stars. And yeah, unhauled it for that reason. But the atmosphere was good, and it also started out very mysterious and suspenseful and also dark. So I thought this was going to be amazing, but I don't know, it soon just lost me, and I even didn't know what it was really about after some time, and if there was any plot even. It was really confusing, but not in a good way, at least for me. So yeah, I can't really tell you anything. It's about this character. I don't even remember if it's a guy or woman. I think it was a man, and he goes to this city and goes to this family living in some kind of house, and they think he is someone that he's not, but he's just pretending that he is that person now, and these people are weird as fuck, and I don't know, they just live there and do stuff. I have no idea what it's really about. So if you've read it, please enlighten me. Maybe I just misunderstood the whole thing, who knows. And then the other book that I also unhauled is My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyen Khan Braithwaite, I think. And I really liked it, but it's a book that I probably will never reread, so I just don't have space on my shelves, and I just got rid of it. I hope someone else will pick it up and love it even more. And this is a thriller, so yeah, thrillers are one of the best genre to unhaul, just because if you know what happens in the end, you just often don't see the point in rereading it, and this was the case for this one as well. It's also very contemporary, but it was interesting because it's all about Nigerian culture, and I'm always interested in learning about new cultures, so I really liked that aspect about it. Oh, and yeah, I mean, I said I really liked it, but in terms of rating, I gave this one 3.5 out of 5 stars, so yeah, quite a high rating for something that I would unhaul later on. And it's very character driven again. I mean, there is some plot in there, but it's mostly just about the Nigerian culture and our main character, who also has a sister, so it's also about both of these, and just family and work as well. They meaning the main character that we follow, one of these sisters, is working at I think it was a hospital, So that was really cool, and she's got an interesting patient in there as well, and she talks with him. He's in a coma, and she talks about all kinds of secrets, which not sure if that's the most intelligent idea, but alright, go for that. And then, I mean, as the book title suggests, it's also about her sister, a serial killer. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I would react if I found out that someone in my family was a serial killer, but it's pretty interesting how these two sisters deal with that, and it's interesting who she chooses to murder, I guess. And yeah, I mean, our main character always has to clean up after her, so yeah, not the best thing to do in your free time, I think, but it was interesting to read about it. And yeah, also the food from the Nigerian culture that was described was really interesting, love that. And the ending was also quite unexpected. I didn't think that it would turn out that way, but it does make sense looking back at it. But yeah, all in all, I didn't give it a higher rating because it was very literary thick and could have been more thriller-esque, in my opinion. But yeah, still had a lot of fun, and I would recommend it. So this book was also part of a reading vlog that I did for Halloween, where I read 4, well, more or less horror books, thriller, all that kind of stuff. So I did talk about it in detail in that video as well. And the next 3 books, I will just briefly mention my opinion. If you want to know more about what I thought of these books, just check out the vlog. I have timestamps in it if you're just interested in one book, so you don't have to watch the whole vlog. But yeah, I just don't want to talk 40 minutes again. I do like long videos, but I mean, I have to film a October wrap-up, November, December, and also January, so it'll take forever. And if I can redirect you to other videos where I already talked about these books, that just is the most convenient way for me to save some time, you know? So the 3 books in question are The Troop by Nick Carter, What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, and also The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, with The Troop being the best book I've read in this vlog, and I think also the best book in January, what the hell? In October, I think, I'm not sure right now, but I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, almost 5 stars. It's really scratching that 5-star rating. The half star that is missing is just because it was way too predictable for me, but everything else was amazing. I would say that this leans more towards extreme horror, but it's not really. I mean, there are some disgusting scenes in there, but it's mostly just psychological horror, I think. Sure, there's some animal cruelty in there, and that was really hard to read. I think it was like 2 or 3 scenes, but overall it could have been even more disturbing. Maybe I'm just too used to extreme horror at this point, I have no idea. I mean, I was expecting more gory stuff, like real hardcore cannibalism and all that kind of stuff. But again, I did love it. The writing style was good. We've also got a few mixed media elements in here, but not a lot. And also all kinds of perspectives. So this follows a boy troop that is on this island. I think it's a annual ritual that they always go there and just survive there for a few days, have a good time in nature, learn a few useful things, and go home afterwards. But not this time, of course, or it wouldn't be a horror novel. So there's some kind of, let's call it contagion, that is spreading in that area, and the boys can't leave the island, and try to survive on there, try to not get contagious. So yeah, we've got all of that going on, and then some newspaper articles in between the chapters that talk more about the contagion and how it even came into existence and so on. So yeah, it was really interesting. Also really interesting to learn about all of the boys. We also learn a lot about just their life and their past. And yeah, I think it was a very sad book. Also the ending was quite sad. I think I cried 2 times, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, the most disturbing parts I think are in between the chapters of the actual story, where it's just about the beginnings of the contagion thing. That was the most disturbing stuff for me. And then what actually happened on the island was nothing compared to that. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. I really recommend it if you haven't already read it. It's got a creepy atmosphere, focus on survival, which I always love. We've just got this island for most of the part where it all takes place. A lot of psychological horror where the boys don't trust each other anymore and they don't know what's really going on. They're just on their own, and I mean, they are just boys in early teenager years, I think. And what else does it have? Survival, yeah, some disgusting stuff. If you want to know which disgusting scene affected me the most, I'm just going to say one word, and it's chimpanzee. Also guinea pig, but more chimpanzee. If you've read it, you probably know what I'm talking about. Yeah, some self-mutilation is going on in here as well, so if you don't want to read about that, maybe stay away from this book. And did I miss anything? I mean, some body horror is in there as well. Sure, with the infection going on, it has to be in there, I think. And the ending was good. Leaves some room for interpretation, I think, but I think it's quite clear where it's leaning more towards. So yeah, I've got some sci-fi in there as well, I would say. Not the sci-fi in terms of, oh my god, there's an alien invasion. It's just like sci-fi in terms of, I don't know, compared to Frankenstein, that's sci-fi as well. And yeah, I actually didn't want to talk about these books in detail, but I just had to because I love the troop. Then the next one was What Moves the Dead is, I would say, a novella, which is a retelling of Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher. I almost forgot what it's called right there. And yeah, I really liked it. I think, in my opinion, just my opinion, that there's a lot of new stuff in there as well. It's not just a retelling in a modern writing style. I think it's more than that, with interesting characters, great atmosphere, some interesting horror in there, but there could have been more again. It's quite slow in the beginning, but when it picks up it gets really good, I think. So gave it 4 stars and enjoyed it. I know a lot of people felt underwhelmed with it. I personally did not, but yeah, I guess it could happen. I'm also really excited to read the sequel that will come out very soon if it hasn't already been published. So yeah, don't know what else to say. If you know the Poe story, you basically know what this one's going to be. Very much gothic horror in a house with, yeah, interesting people living there, I would say. And our main character goes there because he knows the family. Yeah, just paying a visit. That is, I don't know, more horrific than he thought it would be. And then the last one, The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, is a well-known classic, but I've never read it before. So Halloween was the perfect opportunity to finally do that. And I have to say, I expected more. I've read The Lottery by Shirley Jackson a few years ago, and I thought that this was going to be similar because I did love The Lottery very much. But yeah, I don't know, it was quite boring. Not really any horror in it. It's just about these strangers that never met, and they are all invited to this house to see if there's anything supernatural going on, and they just spend their days there, and that's basically it. We learn a lot about these characters, but I don't think they were that interesting. And the ending, I don't know. I just don't like the main characters that are... Well, I can't spoil it because there are probably people who still haven't read it. I don't like depressing people, that's all I'm going to say. And at this point, I'm already watching the series adaptation by Netflix. I'm only halfway through, so I have no idea if the ending will disappoint me, but so far I think the series is better than the book. And that says a lot because that rarely happens. I don't know. I mean, the writing style was good, but the plot just didn't interest me at all. I liked the introduction more than the book itself, and also the stuff at the end explaining what Shirley Jackson was inspired by when writing this and how it might connect to her own life. That was really interesting as well and helped me with understanding the book more. But all in all, I just think it's not for me. It had some House of Leaves vibes as well, but yeah, it just never went there really. There was so much potential for that interesting house, but I don't know, I didn't like it that much. I will keep it because it's a beautiful edition, it's a classic. Maybe I'll reread it in, I don't know, 10 years and appreciate it much more. It could happen. It wasn't bad, I just expected something else. Yeah. And then I only have 3 more books to talk about, which brings us to a total of 8 books that I've read in October, which is a good number. I mean, there were a lot of short books in there, so it's not really a lot, but saying 8 books makes it feel much better. So the first one is the last book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. I reread the whole series for the upcoming, well, not upcoming anymore, for the adaptation by Disney, which I still haven't watched, but I think every episode is out now, so I could. And yeah, really enjoyed rereading that series. I really love the world and the characters in it. It's so fun to read, very great adventure, but it also has just an endless amount of mythology references in there that I love even more. So yeah, very fun to spot them all, and every single book has so many new references in there that it's always exciting, never boring. So upon rereading, I think I gave the whole series about 4 stars each for each book. Yeah, it's not a 5-star book, but I know that I really loved it as a child. Maybe it's just because of rereading it and knowing pretty much what is going to happen. It's not as good, but I don't know. It's really good. 4 stars are good. A good rating for me. I'm quite critical with giving out high ratings. 5 stars is a very rare thing for me, so 4 stars is very good. And I mean, I just thought that it might be because of me remembering everything, but in true honesty, I do not remember much of what was going on in the later books. The first 2 books were pretty much what I already knew, but the other 3 felt like reading it for the first time. So yeah, maybe it's just because it's quite short and middle grade. It's not a 5-star book for me, but I don't know. Highly recommend it if you haven't read it for whatever reason. I'm also waiting for the Illumicrate special edition of the whole series to arrive. I'm really excited to have them because I've only read the series in German, so yeah. I will have to reread it a third time in the future just to experience the original language for the first time. That's going to be super exciting. But yeah, love the conclusion, and I'm really excited to read more by Rick Riordan because I started reading the Kane Chronicles when I was, I don't know, 10 years younger than now. I really don't remember, but yeah, almost everything now will be uncharted land for me. I've never read it before, so that's super exciting. Rick Riordan has a lot of books that I just have never read before, so I'm excited about that, yeah. And also a 6th book in this series, right? Which I will read later on. I'll read everything in publication order at this point, so it'll take some time to get there. And then I also, pretty much right after finishing Percy Jackson, The Last Goddess, or whatever it was called, I picked up this one, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Ultimate Guide, which is quite a short book, but it just summarizes everything you need to know about this world, and it has a lot of illustrations in it, which was mainly the reason why I wanted to pick it up, just to look at the illustrations, see if there's any information in there that I didn't know of before, and yeah, just reading everything that I owned by Rick Riordan. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one as well, just because it's a good summary for anyone who wants to know the most important information again, and just to look at character art, and there are also some maps in there, so it's quite helpful if you want to know a little bit more background in terms of just the mythology aspect, what it's based on, and just to get an overview of the fictional world and all its characters in it. I would have liked to have more new information in it, which is why I gave it 3.5 stars, but it's quite good if you're a fan of this universe, I would say. You could totally get it, look at it, and appreciate the visuals. In the beginning, we've got some character arts from one of the most important characters, Annabelle, right here. And then inside, it's just very pretty to look at, very quick read, and yeah, quite interesting. Here's an overview of all the contents inside. And this is the last book that I read. It looks super huge. It was hard to get it into the frame, but there we go. You can all see it. This is yet another illustrated book in the vein of Benjamin Lacombe. It's also published by the same publisher, Jacobi and Stewart. And it's part of a series, but you can read them all on their own. They are not connected in any way. It's just an encyclopedia of all kinds of mythology, fantasy stuff. So in this one we have monsters, there's also one about witches, and one about fairies, and I think also one about dragons. So 4 in total it should be. And this one is about monsters. Got all kind of monsters in there, vampires, werewolves, also interesting stuff like Frankenstein, and also lots of creatures I've never heard of before. We go through all kinds of cultures, and it's also heavily illustrated, in this case by Stan Manoukian, I have no idea how to pronounce that name, I'm so sorry. And every single book is illustrated by someone else. The witch book should be illustrated by Lacombe, and the fairy book, I have no idea what she's called. I think it was a female illustrator. Damn it, I don't remember, but they all look very, very beautiful. I don't own the dragon book, I think, so no idea how that looks. But these 3 books were just beautiful. I mean, you can tell by the cover, the illustrations inside look just as beautiful. So let's take a quick look, and yeah, gave it I think 5 stars. I can look it up in just a second if I can find it, but I almost always love these. No, I just gave it 4 stars, so yeah. Again, as I've said before, 4 stars is quite good as well. And what's always cool is that you also have pages like that where you have to turn the whole book and learn about interesting stuff. And then there's also, in between the more non-fiction information, a cute little story that is related to the topic. So monsters in that case got that, I don't know, teenage boy who thinks that he looks like a monster, and yeah, you learn more about that story as well. And then you've got monsters from time to time with a beautiful illustration in there and a backstory on them. And these are more just facts. So we've got all kinds of tracks by monsters on here, like the smell, or yeah, I'm not going to say that, but yeah, just prints that they leave behind. Got also Cthulhu in here, very cool. And this is the whole content. Got a quick prologue, and then it's also organized by a topic. So we've got mythological monsters, but also literary monsters, monsters of the night and stuff like that, of the ocean. So yeah, it's just always fun to read books by that publisher. Also love these end papers, so cute. And yeah, that's it. That's everything I've read in October. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've read any of these books as well and what you thought of them. And I'll see you in my November reading wrap-up. I hope you still enjoy these videos, even if I've read these books a long time ago now. But yeah, until my next video, I hope you have a great time. Wish you happy reading, and take care. Bye!